What's up guys, Patrick here from Top Tier Gaming, and today I'm coming at you with a Mayakashi deck profile for the Shiny set release. I don't know if we're getting this product because it does look super sick, get a cool box, a stand, and some sleeves. But you know, I don't know if we're actually getting it because Konami hates us and doesn't want to give us cool things like Japan gets. But you know, we'll eventually get the cards and that's what really matters, I guess, right? Alright, so with the new support, you get the Shiranui Tail and we get the Link 3. Starting off, we have Triple Hajin. He is the normal summon of the deck. On summon, he special summons any Mayakashi from the deck. And then you can start making plays with that. And all of the Mayakashis lock you into only being able to special summon Mayakashis from the extra deck, which is why the entire extra deck is xenophobic. Next up, we have Triple Unit Yuki Musume, excuse me. If you control a Mayakashi other than herself while it's in your hand or in the graveyard, you can special summon her and then send any zombie monster from your deck to the grave, which is insane. You're able to send like Mizuki's, Daki, Eldritch if for whatever reason you need a 35 beater. Yeah, it's super nice. She's also like, if you open Yuki plus Daki as combo, or just Hajin plus Yuki as combo as well. So now we have Triple Daki. It's a lot to play 3, but we play Small World and she connects sometimes to different cards. So you want to be able to have one that you can get rid of. Plus opening her plus Musume or her plus 1-for-1, her plus Foolish Burial. It just allows you to, you know, have more hands that are able to combo, which is why I decided to play 3. We got one Shafu. He's a small world target and he's pretty mediocre. When he's normal special, you target a Mayakashi in your graveyard, special summon it, and then you're locked into Mayakashis. He's okay. He's just got weird stats, so he can connect a bunch of your small world things, which is nice. Next up, we got Triple Ash and Double Ghost Bell. These are just good generic hand traps that are also able to small world through Eldritch into Hajin. Then we got Mizuki, as I said, you send it off Yuki Musume. So it's okay. I could understand if you cut this because, you know, you have to have Yuki Musume to facilitate this card being useful. Or Yuki or Foolish, either way. It's pretty okay. Next up, we got one Yasha, the Skeletal Mayakashi. You discard another Mayakashi to special summon it. But the main thing we're using this for is it is a bridge for a lot of your different cards. It's either going to connect through Yasha or through Eldritch. And I just didn't want to play 2 Yasha or 2 Eldritch, so I decided to play 1-1 so you have more variety. Yeah, he's pretty mid. He just discards 1 to special, which is alright. If you open him plus Musume, you can start doing some stuff. Next we have one Eldritch. He is the primary bridge that you're going to want to use for your small world because he's able to connect to literally every card in your deck through any other card in your deck, which is super nice. Next up, Call by the Grave, 1-for-1 Foolish. We play 3 broken limited spells. They're all insane. Foolish sends either Musume, Mizuki, or Eldritch. Again, if you need Eldritch in grave for whatever reason. Even sends Daki sometimes if you're able to make it Link 2 and still full combo. 1-for-1 pitches any of the bad cards to summon Hajin, and then he special summons 1 from deck. Super nice. We have Triple Mayakashi Return. It takes a Mayakashi card and adds it to your hand or Foolish Burials it, which is super insane that you can just add any monster or any spell trap, or yeah, well, I guess if there is another spell you could add it, but primarily you're adding either Ghost Meets Girl or the Mayhem. Both of those cards are pretty good. But yeah, it allows you to extend, it allows you to start your combos, to finish your combos. It's crazy. Like, this card's nuts. Next up, we have Small World. This just makes the deck really consistent. It allows you to bridge bad hands into playable hands, which is super nice. That's all you really need is to open Hajin and just be able to play. Then we have Triple Mayhem. If a zombie synchro monster is special summoned from anywhere except the extra deck, you can apply one of the effects, and you can only use that effect once per turn, but you can use each of these effects once per turn. First effect, draw a card, pretty okay. Second effect, set a Mayakashi spell trap, so you can set your return for your next turn, which is super insane. You can send, non-targeting send, an opponent's monster with the lowest attack to the graveyard, which is pretty good for dealing with, you know, untargetable cards. And then inflict 800 damage. So you can activate 4 effects per turn that get you that pluses you 2, sends 1, and then burns for 800. It's pretty crazy if you resolve all 4 effects in one turn. We have the last hand trap in the deck, which is Imperm. This is the best generic hand trap in the game to me. It can't be triple attacked, can't be called by. The only thing that can stop it is a cross-out designator, which if they're cross-out designating Imperm, it allows you to have like Ash Blossom or Bell, which is super nice. Next up we have Trap Trick. You want to have as many copies of your flagship trap as possible. So you just play this, get additional copies. It's super nice. Speaking of that trap, we play 3 copies of Ghost Meets Girl, a Mayakashi, and Shiranui's Tale. So you tribute a Mayakashi or Shiranui Link or Synchro monster, and then neither player can special summon from the hand, deck, or extra deck for the rest of the turn, which is super crazy. Just being able to floodgate out your opponent and then summon out a bunch of your big boys from your graveyard and get effects and start popping off. And then you can banish it from your graveyard, target one of your banished zombie monsters, return it to the graveyard, which is super nice to be able to return your Link 3 to the grave on your turn, because you usually use your Link 3 to special summon the zombie that you tribute with this, and then on your turn, you can banish this, put her back in grave, special summon another card. It's super nice. You'll play 1 IO, it's a boss monster, by itself, card's cracked. Don't know what to say, ban this card now, please, thank you, so I don't have to have this in there when this deck comes out. Alright, extra deck, we play 3 level 3. All of the monsters have the same burst effect, which correlates to their standing in the ladder of your Synchro and then into Link climb. So whenever a Synchro monster whose level is 5 is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish one of their zombie monster from the graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card. So basically, whenever the 5 is destroyed, the 3 summon itself, the 7 is destroyed, summons the 5, 9 summons the 7, 11 summons the 9. When the Link 2 is destroyed, it summons the 11. Yeah, that's how the ladder works. So they have their first effects that will special summon themselves if the one higher on the ladder is destroyed, and then it has the second effect, which is if it's special summoned from the graveyard, all of them have the graveyard effect, all the Synchro monsters do at least, that they do something when special summoned from the graveyard. The 3 summons itself, and then it makes it to where your monsters can't be destroyed by battle, which is super nice because a lot of the times you'll end on like a Daki on board, and sometimes you'll end with like some of your smaller monsters on board, and it's nice for them to not be able to destroy by battle, so your opponent can't special and they can't clear out your board so you can kill them on the next turn. Next you have your 5. Whenever the 7 is destroyed, summon itself, and then when it's special summoned, you can have each player mill the top 3 cards of their deck, which is super nice. The Eldritch version of the deck plays this card better, or even the Small World Control version, or excuse me, not Small World, Zombie World Control version of this deck plays this card better. So if y'all want to see a deck profile with that, let me know in the comments. I can put one together, it's not super hard. It just makes the deck more of a control deck instead of like a boss monster towers deck, which is, you know, it's fun, but I think the Eldritch version might be a little bit better, because your Eldritch stuff protects you when you get hand trapped, because that is the weakness of this deck, is being hand trapped and not being able to end on the full board. But that's a discussion for that video. If y'all want to see it, let me know. Next up, we have the 7, Tengu. If the 9 is destroyed, special summon itself. And if it's special summoned, you destroy non-targeting an opponent's spell trap, which is pretty damn good. All of the graveyard effects are non-targeting, so the spell trap destruction, which is Tengu, and the 9, Yoko, which has the same effect, flood destroy special as well. If it's special summoned, it non-targeting destroys an opponent's monster, which is really nice. To be able to just non-target pop cards that can't be targeted, but can be popped, which is kind of few, but you know, it still does come up to be able to non-target pop things. And then the 11, if the Link monster is destroyed, it banishes another zombie, special itself, and if it's special summoned, you activate its effect, and it's unaffected by card effects for the rest of the turn, which is super nice, because it's just a 33 towers that can be destroyed by battle oftentimes because of Aurora Brew. So hey, spit? I don't know, I tried. Next we have the triple Ice Mayakashi. You can only control 1, and then while it points to a Synchro monster, your opponent can't target it for attacks. And then if a Synchro monster is destroyed by battle with card effect while it's on the field, target monster in the field, its attack and defense is halved, which is okay, it's whatever. But she's mainly just a Link line. She's not the best. She's honestly the worst Link in the deck, but I play 2 because on your next turn you want to be able to go through the entire line again to end on another 3 plus your 4 plus whatever you summon back from the grave, which is just super useful. Speaking of the 3, we have the card that isn't out right now, the Icicle Mayakashi. She goes from Ice to Icicle to Absolute 0, which is kind of fun. Anyway, you can only control 1, you can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If it's special summoned, you target an effect monster your opponent controls and negate its effects. Pretty nice on your turn 3 to summon that negate a card. And then you can banish it from your graveyard to special summon a zombie Synchro monster that's banished or in your graveyard. Being able to summon it from banish actually comes up quite a bit if your opponent has like, weird cards, like Color Grave or something. If banish it, you can just summon back your 3300 and just punch them, which is nice. Or if there's like a Floodgate that's banishing, Die-Fi macro, that kind of thing, you get to special summon it anyways. Still just have it in there. And then we have the 4 Absolute 0 Mayakashi. This one is a mouthful of effects, because they kind of had to just stack her with effects, because the rest of your monsters don't really do anything. Like, none of these have effects on your opponent's turn, which kind of sucks, so they had to give everything to the 4, which I understand, but you know, they have a tendency to fill the new cards that they give them, which is Yukiona, Absolute Zero, or excuse me, Icicle, Absolute Zero, Shiranui Tail, and then the Yukimusume. These are all cards that weren't in the first wave. Same thing with Mayhem. This card wasn't in the first wave, and all of the best cards in the deck have like a boatload of effects. Like Mayhem has 4 effects, Shiranui Tail has 2, Yukimusume has 2 things, and it's special summons and Foolishness, which is crazy. She has 2 effects that are really relevant. She has like 2 effects that are really relevant. Like all of the new stuff they had to overcompensate because the original stuff was so lackluster. But I'm not going to complain too much because I get to play cool decks like Mayakashi. So whenever an opponent's monster is banished, or excuse me, any effect that activates from an opponent's banished monster is negated instead. And then if a monster is special summoned from the graveyard or a monster effect is activated in the graveyard, you target a face-up monster on the field, change its attack to 0 and negate it, which is super crazy because you can activate it up to twice per turn. So whenever you activate your Link 3 effect in Grave, it'll just negate a card on field, which is super nice. Shiranui Tail activates, sending the Synchro summon, and it just like snowballs into your turn 3 where she just negates 2 times, summons out your 3, negates another card, and then you summon out a 33, you swing 33, 24, 29, and then like whatever else you have in your graveyard. So she just ends up doing a lot of damage, like burning with my Mayhem if you have it, drawing, setting. Like the deck just snowballs on turn 3 very hard. Like your turn 2 is crazy. That's kind of the main goal of the deck, is to stun out your opponent on their turn because cards don't really do anything other than negate twice per turn with Yukiona. Other than the trap, which floodgates, which, you know, Konami has their tendencies. But yeah, that's it for the main and extra. Now for the side deck, I want to talk about this just a little bit. This is kind of like a preliminary side deck for what I think the meta might be when this comes out. We don't even have a date for it yet, but I'm just assuming this is coming out after Brave and after our next core set. And so I'm assuming these are just like the cards that'll be relevant at this time. We have Triple Token Collector. This card poops on Brave Token, and it also helps against the Sword Soul deck, which is nice. We have 1 Pegasus, probably just the best generic going second card in the game. Pegasus will win games by himself. 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, basic generic spell trap removal. Triple Cosmic Cyclone, Mystic Mine out, plus you don't really want to discard off 20 or anything. So it's just like non-destruction removal for spell traps. Then we have Triple Evenly. It's the best if you don't need your battle phase to go into Zeus. Like I think Evenly should be the card you decide to play, just because of Sky Prison. Was board? I can't remember. Either way, it gets around him, and you know, that's why I think Lightning Storm and Harpies are kind of falling off, is because that card exists. It's not as good versus them. Next up, we have 1 Necro Banshee and 3 Zombie World. So certain matchups like Earth Machine, Salamangreat, and a few other matchups are just destroyed by Zombie World. Sword Soul and Flunder as well are just destroyed by Zombie World. Like you just activate this card versus them and it's game. So a lot of times you can just side out, like for Flunder, you can side out the Mizuki and like the Trap Tricks for just the Zombie Worlds, and just say Necro Banshee and Zombie World, excuse me. And it just locks out your opponent. It's super nice because they can't tribute summon any of their cards. But yeah. It's just so good in those matchups that I think it's worth side decking, but I don't think it's generically strong enough without seeing the meta that this deck will be playable in. I don't think it's worth main decking it. I do think it's very strong, but as of now, I wouldn't main deck it. One more thing, I wanted to go ahead and show you all of the connections that the Eldritch provides. So it connects from Daki, from Yasha, Yukimusume, and Shafu. So basically every Mayakashi you control connects through Eldritch into Hajin, which is super nice because you just want to have every hand enter into that. It also does Ash Blossom, and it does Ghost Bell, which is super nice that you can just connect through Eldritch into Hajin through any of those. And then Yasha also connects through most of your Mayakashis that you play. It connects through Shafu, Yukimusume, which is nice, and it also connects through Ash Blossom. Oops, if I don't misspell it. Yeah, Ash Blossom, Ghost Bell. Yeah, Ghost Bell. Connects through all of those, and I believe Mizuki as well. Yeah, connects through Mizuki. I think Eldritch does as well for Mizuki. I'm like 90% sure. I don't know why it would. Yeah. So basically, every card in your deck connects through other cards into Hajin. And I believe Eldritch even connects through, yeah, through there, and then he gets through as well. What was his name? I just forgot it. I was literally just looking at Yasha. Yeah, Yasha. I think I already said that, but yeah. Basically, anything connects through one of these two cards into Hajin, which is all you really care about, is being able to have Hajin in every hand, which is what Small World allows you to do. Alright guys, this has been Patrick from Top Tier Gaming. Let me know what you think of the profile. Let me know if you want to see more DB profiles for decks that are quote-unquote unplayable right now. Because that's what I think we're going to try to primarily do, is just do profiles for decks that we can't play in paper because we don't have cards specifically like this and like this. Join our Discord, follow our Twitter, like our Instagram as well, we have one. Have a good day.